2025 real estate predictions. Today, I'm going to boil down what I'm seeing going on in the world, what I've read, what I've learned, and I'm going to boil it all together to tell you what I'm predicting for the 2025 real estate market. So, this is one of the things I've been prompted to talk about. I want to get into it and I want to give you a lot of my underlying reason and methodology because in making your own predictions, I think that reasoning and methodology is important to pass along to you so that you can make your own analysis of where you think the real estate market's going. I'm Shawn McBride. I'm a practicing corporate lawyer. I work with businesses to grow and expand, and I also do a lot of reading about the economics, the world, geopolitics, things around us. It's just what I do on this channel is talk about the future of business. So my goal is to help you, the viewer, the listener, the person who's tuning in, to think about the future of business and help make decisions for yourself. As always, this is not investment advice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I'm seeing, what my analysis is, so that you can make your own decisions about where you are and where you're headed. The real estate market is starting to show some dips in parts of the U.S., and this is not a surprise. Interest rates remain high, and because of this, people are on the sidelines. Also, people are not confident where the economy is going. I think a lot of people have seen that uncertainty, and the incoming Trump administration, President Trump has still not taken office as of the time of recording for his second term. That uncertainty of where we're going with tariffs, trade, and other factors really brings a lot of uncertainty to the market. My personal prediction is that when we see President Trump come in and start negotiating around the tariffs, that we're going to see a fair amount of disruption. Now, I think a lot of his tariff talk is about negotiations, right? He's proposing tariffs on different parts of the world, and I think this is an effort to bring everybody to the table, right? Because people are going to start asking for concessions. They're going to say, hey, don't put those tariffs on us yet. Let's have a meeting. Let's talk. Let's work it out. It's bringing a discussion around points that haven't been discussed a lot in the past, right? So this is forcing things to the table. Maybe there was some discussions, but now it's a new person in charge, so it's a whole new discussion. So there's going to be a lot of maneuvering around tariffs in 2025 is my prediction, right? People are going to start negotiating. There's going to be shifts. There's going to be changes. Some of these discussions are not going to go well, and there may be tariffs imposed on foreign nations. That is going to then both disrupt some American businesses that are using those inputs and supplies, but it's also going to potentially create new opportunities. So this is going to be a shifting. And as we already know, some states and areas in the country are better with capturing and allowing the growth of opportunities, and some discourage opportunities, right? Whether it's for environmental reasons or otherwise, we definitely have different attitudes towards business in different parts of the U.S. So expect to see a lot of regionalization in the real estate market. Not that it's not already regional, but there will be more of that. The regions will vary in how much they do economic pickup, how much they feel this influx of disruption from the tariffs, and then also we're going to see adjustments regionally from the California wildfires to the Florida hurricanes to the terrible destruction in North Carolina. There is going to be changes in insurance rates and taxation bases, right? There's already talk some of these areas may not be rebuilt, or they might be rebuilt differently. And, here in Florida now, we're hearing that some people are, being approached by local government and required to make significant changes. All of these things put pressure on people to make changes in real estate, right? People often try to be stable in their home, and the average term of people staying in their home, last I checked, was only about 7 years, right? People that own homes on average stay about 7 years, so there's still a lot of fluidity. Now throw on here these increasing property taxes, the increasing insurance, the condo assessments we're seeing here in Florida, And, this is not just Florida. This is going to be California, North Carolina, Tennessee, other areas. The market is going to adjust, and that's going to require people to potentially move, right? And anytime we get a large volume of people moving, that's good for real estate agents because they like the moves, they like the commissions. But if people are forced to move in a time when they're not really planning to move, they're moving because the insurance bill is suddenly too high. They're moving because their property is destroyed and they can't rebuild. They're moving because the town they're in is no longer viable. These kind of forced sales often lead to lower numbers. And if people are selling for less and being forced out, then the downstream effect of that is, of course, that the market moves in a downward direction. So I think we're going to see a lot of that kind of pressure in 2025. And I think the job market's going to feel it too, right? There's been a lot of kicking the cans with the job market. Some people have said that a lot of the job creation that we're seeing that bullies these that buoys these reports that we see in the upward direction and makes everything seem great. A lot of this is government jobs being created or downstream effects of government spending. So if we do get to the point where we have a Doge committee, official or unofficial, that's running through and potentially scaling down the government, cutting back some of these government programs, we're going to see the downstream effects of that. I believe long term there is benefits from getting back to a more free market, to letting people get out there and experiment and try to build their lives and build their businesses in the ways they see fit, right? I think that's a good thing for the economy. But in the intermediate term, specifically 2025, and that's what we're talking about, 2025 real estate prices here on this video. For 2025 real estate prices, all of this flux of disruption that is potentially coming with potential government scalebacks, with not adding some of these band-aid spending programs that are moving the numbers in a positive direction, with just digesting the reality of the kind of malaise and lack of growth that the U.S. economy has been in for a while, this kind of neutrality where inflation's significant, but there's been a little bit of wage growth. This kind of neutrality that we're feeling and malaise is going to impact the market. So I don't think that there's going to be a ton of buyers. So there may be sellers because of cost, economic conditions, being forced to move, but I don't see as strong of an equation on the buyer side. Meanwhile, one factor that does potentially look positive is interest rates, right? Interest rates have been high. I don't expect them to go significantly lower, and we're already getting indications to that effect from the Fed that they may not wish to lower. But we do believe the incoming president is going to want lower interest rates. Lower interest rates generally help the housing market. It adds liquidity. It allows people to move, and it allows people to afford a little more property on the other end, potentially pushing prices up, right? If you have a lower monthly payment, you can afford a bigger amount paid for the house. If you amortize it and you have a lower interest rate, lower monthly payment, you can potentially pay a little more for a house. That helps the market and helps people get in and get across that threshold of buying a house, but it also allows them to move and have liquidity. But on the flip side, we don't have any certainty that those interest rate changes are to come. And I don't know if lower interest rates, particularly if it's only a minor adjustment in interest rates, is going to be enough to adjust for all of these other economic issues we have going on. Throw in there immigration. I mean, if we do have significant number of people leaving the U.S., as is rumored, or has been thought about, if a significant number of people are going to leave the U.S., that is going to free up housing stock, and that may be good for people that are trying to rent, that are trying to buy, but it's going to put a downward pressure on price as well. So my personal prediction, and again, not investment advice, this is just me talking on a video platform that you're viewing today. It's just some guy who has an economics understanding making predictions, not investment advice, not telling you what to do. Talk to your investment advisor. But what I see is, as this comes through the market, that we're going to have some volatility, and I see a fair amount of downward pressure on real estate prices and the market in 2025. Now, you may disagree, and I'd love to hear about in the comments why you disagree, and maybe I'll update this video if I get some meaningful comments about that. But that's where I think things are going. I think if you're just betting on a massive uprise in real estate prices as you're doing your calculations and potential purchases, I think you need to be, thinking about maybe putting some conservatism in there. Let me know why you agree or disagree in the comments. If you're getting value from this, consider subscribing to our channel and checking out our library of past videos.